older, I'm getting much better at using the word no. I used to be rubbish at saying no. I used to say yes all the time, yes too much, yes to everything. To the point where I felt a bit like a doormat, a bit like I was being used, I suppose. And then I went through a phase of saying yes, but immediately regretting it. And then I went through a phase of saying no, but in a really kind of wishy-washy, namby-pamby sort of way. Now, if somebody asks me to do something I don't want to do, I just go like this. No. My friend pointed out that my voice changes. So if I do want to do it, I go, yeah, that sounds great, thanks very much. And if I don't, I go, no. No apology, no explanation, just no. Made a list of some of the things I've said no to over the years. First thing on my list, I said no to opening a sexual health clinic on the Isle of Wight. You know when I say opening, I mean cutting a ribbon, not getting planning permission. You know that? I said no to a voiceover for an advert they thought I was perfect for, and I thought, let's see what you think I'm perfect for. It was an advert for soil. All I can think is that they Googled my name and it said I was very dirty, and they were like, yep, she'll do that. She's dirty. Down there, she's probably got worms. Yep. This one's very straightforward. I say no to skinny jeans because I find them very thrushy. Very straightforward, that one. I say no to giving my email address to shop assistants. Have you had this? Actually, the last time it happened, I didn't say no, I said a different word. I got to the till and the man on the till said, and your email address is? And I said, irrelevant. I say no to guinea pigs. Don't say arse, but if they say, oh, they're shit. They are budget rabbits at best. Go on, spend another couple of pounds, treat yourself to some fucking ears. But think about Watership Down. If Watership Down was guinea pigs instead of rabbits, you wouldn't cry at the end, would you? You go like this. Nobody ever made a vibrator out of a guinea pig, did they? You know why? Because this bit's really important. That's why. I say no to people in the street with clipboards. There was a few people agreeing with that over there, yeah. Unless they're standing outside a stationery shop and there's an offer on clipboards, because I love stationery more than fucking life itself. I say no to notebooks and aspirational signs. I'd say anything to do with dreams. Make your dreams come true, make your dreams a reality. Because I always think, do you mean my actual dreams, like the ones I have in the night? You want me to make those come true? Are you sure? To find out where the Rock lives. You want me to go to his house, wait until he gives me the kittens, and then take me top off? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? I say no to slates instead of plates. Have you had this? You're in a perfectly nice restaurant and they bring you a dinner on a bit of fucking roof. I was at the Edinburgh Fringe in August last year and I was genuinely served a fry-up in a frying pan. Because mornings aren't my best time, I'm not on my most alert on a morning. I ate it really quickly because I was worried they were waiting for the pan. This next one's a little bit controversial. Not everybody likes this one. There's 3 to go, by the way. I said no to a gig at the Queen's Jubilee because I was picking up a kitten. I spent 8 years of my life without any pets, the longest I'd ever gone, because of the lifestyle of my job. And then my husband and I realised we were finally in a position where we could definitely look after a cat. And our friend's cat had just had kittens, so we locked a date in my diary when that kitten could leave his mum and come and live with us. It was locked in my diary. And my agent, she said, but it's the Queen's Jubilee. And I said, but it's a kitten. She tried always to persuade me, and in the end I just said, look, I don't care how good her tits are, I'm not fucking going. Second last one. I said no to someone shoving a crunchie up my fanny. Now, I don't know when you last had a crunchie, you might not remember the chocolate is very thin and would have fizzled off in no time. Even very angular cinder toffee that would have hurt. Also, I don't do adverts anyway. It wasn't even a Friday. And the last one on my list. I say no to people driving up the closed lane and cutting in. Do you know what I mean by this? Yeah. So we all see the sign at the same point, don't we? The sign that says in 800 yards, this lane will close, and this lane will remain open. Now, I like to consider myself a good driver. I immediately start working my way across to the lane that will remain open. Some people, though, just drive to the front of the other lanes and cut in. Now, if this is me, and this is you better hope that your car is no bigger than a fucking pube. Because that is the gap that I'm leaving between me and the car in front of me. Now, that is very clearly a no action. That driver must surely understand what's going on. But I always want them to see my face say no as well. So I wait until they side up, because they do that, don't they? They drive up alongside you. They glance across at you in your car in a slightly sort of pleading way. Oh, go on. Let me in. I'm only driving an Audi TT. I'm just a cunt. And that is when I glance across at them and I go like this. No. No. And just to make sure they definitely get the message, I do this. Aww.